Little sport. What heaven looks like being you. See the little flashers. What heaven sounds like. Just let it fill the room. What heaven looks like. Down the road. Something like being you. Hey, that was question. Whatever says why. Hallelujah. Woo. Hey, hey, hey. Woo, woo. This coming is coming. This coming is coming. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Hey. Whoop. Hey, 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 hey. Look at me. Just let it fill the room. Hey, if you wanna know what heaven sounds like, just let it fill the room. Just let it fill the room. If you wanna know what heaven sounds like, just let it fill the room. Heaven sounds like. If you wanna know what heaven sounds like, woo. If you wanna know what, hey. If you wanna know what heaven sounds like. Yes, you guys, we need that energy. We need that energy. We need that energy. Come on in. Come on in. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Um, I'm up, you guys. Up and at it. Kid you not. um, I know it's crazy because ooh, um, yeah, just um it's the consistency. It's following through. It's the showing up, no matter what it looked like, no matter what the circumstance is. Got up this morning, had an eye scratch. Had to go to the doctor, but I said, you know what, God, that's all right, cause you woke me up. You woke me up. I got the activity of my limbs. Um, look around, all is well. My children are well, they're happy, they're healthy. There is no complaints whatsoever, and I'm just grateful unto God um, for Him being so marvelous and Him being so great. So, yeah, so I'm here. I'm here. So, in a persistency and staying consistent and showing up for me, um, this is big because I just was all over it today. Again. So if you ain't been following me, you don't know what's going on. You might need to go back and watch a couple of videos and catch yourself up. Cause I gotta get this out. I gotta get this out. But we ended with accountability. Well, we kind of cut off at accountability. So and talking about accountability, God, He's so funny. He played that song on the radio, and it just filled my heart because um, this is what heaven looks like. It's looking like me and you, and the reason why is because God knew we were imperfect people, and he wasn't seeking out perfect people. He wasn't seeking out people that does no wrong. He wasn't seeking out people um that got it all together, because that's not why he sent his son. And if we didn't need saving, if we didn't need to be healed, delivered, and set free, then what was the purpose of the cross? What was the purpose of Christ laying down his life for us, so that we may live? And that's what I've been real big on, is just letting everybody know God can do something with your imperfection, because that's how we depend on him. That's why we call on him. That's why he's God of all, because he know all, he see all. Yet, once, you know, Adam and Eve the fell into the temptation of sin, then they became naked, they became disclosed, and now they're uncovered. So that's when sin was brought into the world. So sin is something that exists for a reason. And God knew, in opening up this realm of free will and being exposed to sinful nature that we needed somebody. So Jesus couldn't just come to the earth and live. He had to lay down his life for us so that we could live, so that we can have this chance called life, and so that we can live, even to live again, so that our soul will be well and that our soul will prosper. And it's funny because my daughter, we reviewed that a scripture that I learned at Bible study, and I'm gonna read the scripture and then I'm gonna tell y'all what it meant to me. But I don't, I don't want to lose focus. I want to stay on subject, on topic, but I think this is a good place to start with today because this is so real, especially with this time. Minding your mental is something that they will put out there, worldwide, that everybody need to understand how important your mental health is, how important it is to um, pour into you, how important it is to seek out God and pursue of everything that you do, like and what God intended for us. Um, there are so many things out there that try to deteriorate His intentions, but only thing that speaks of His intention is His word. So the scripture, of course, is 3 John 1 and 2, and it speaks in this sense, and y'all know I always read King James Version. Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prosper. So Jesus just isn't concerned about our soul. He is concerned about our physical. He's concerned about our mental. He's concerned about our psychological. He's concerned about our emotional um, health, our well being. He's concerned about all these things, not just our soul, because um these things disclose what the condition of our souls, and these things are tied into it. And not too often we're going to be in a setting or in a place where um people are pouring into this about your mental, your psychological, your physical state, your those that health. So in that scripture, what stood out to me was when I read it, this is what I heard. It was more so of a poem was writing to me. Beloved, I love you beyond measures, that I pray you grow so beautifully and be in good health, even as your soul Shonay unfolds into who God has called you to be. Baby girl, take care of you as God, as our Father has loved us, we are to love ourselves. Self care is important. Mental health is important, just as important as your spiritual well being. So we have to always remember to take account for those areas as much as we try to mind spiritual health through going to church and reading the word and, you know, fellowshipping with Christ like people. We also need to mind that we have to take time for self care. We have to take time for us to just, let in our hair and just pour into ourselves. And we have to take time to care for us as we care for others. Because if we don't care for ourselves first, I'm saying this again because I really need y'all to grasp this. We can't care for nobody else, no other place, no business, no work, no job, no task, no thing until we care for ourselves as we care for God, as God care for us. That's the degree as we supposed to love and support and care for ourselves. So that's just my little mental inspiration for today. But to get back to accountability, with that song, um God was like, you accountable for you and nobody else. And in my lessons, back then feeling like I had the right to react a certain way. I had the right to put my guard up. I had the right to as we gonna make it plain, trade hate for hate. I had the right to um express my emotions through wickedness, express my feelings through harsh words, express what I was going through on the inside, and really then understand or come fathom and why it take just the littlest thing to just irritate me or tick me off or to put me at 1,000. And that's not true. Two wrongs don't make a right. But most importantly, you have to do unto people as you require people to do unto you. And I really don't feel like the world is processing that, because just because you do it to this person or this place or this thing does not mean that very person, place, or thing is going to return it to you. It's going to come back to you in tenfolds. That's the word. And when it come back to you in tenfolds, it's going to be a way that you least expect it, and when it happens, it's going to hit home. So we have to be accountable in the sense that what we do, it may come back on us through our kids. It may come back on our kids. It may come back in our business. It may come back in our home. It may come back, we did something at work. It may come back in our relationship. Like, this is what's happening, and people not realizing it. So that's why we have to have mindfulness to do unto others as we desire others to do unto us. Now, in my perspective, kid you not, look, I'm guilty because um I will say, well, if I act the way you did, sure, I expect for you to react the way I do. That's how I feel. But it took, again, the love of my life to tell me that that's not okay, that's not cool, and that stuck with me, and that reflected on me. But God gave me a new story today, and it's so funny because He said, think about this. He said, I sent you a man to lead you. I sent you a man to pour into you, and I sent you a man that was more than capable to take care of you and protect you and to love you. Um, and you mishandled it. I said, okay, God, here you go with this mishandling thing. He said, yeah. He said, because I need you to understand and agree. I need you to understand. So if I sent you a man to lead you and you always in front of him, how can he lead you? I said, oh, okay. We ain't got to talk about that today, but I'm here for it. Kid you not. He said, if I sent you a man to lead you and you can't even be submissive to the things that he was telling you, the things that he was saying, like that right there, that reaction, that attitude, we not gonna do that no more. That's not you. And he told me, he said, I don't like to see that part of you. And that right there was love to a degree that was saying, like God tell us, I love you so much that I want you to prosper. He loved me so much that he wanted to see me prosper, not live in my past, not dwell in my pain, and no longer suffering from what was no longer part of my life. And it did something to me because I always remembered it. And it blessed me because I used to say all the time and tell his mom, like, I don't know what it is, but this your son can humble me. He can say something, and kid you not, I'm just like in a whole nother space. And I said, Lord, okay, Jesus. I was like, okay. I felt like I've been slapped. I felt like I've been, but in a sense, probably so, slapped and punched, but it was spiritually. Just like when the pastor check you, or you having a conversation with your friend and they be honest with you and the truth hurt, but at the same time, all of these things came to set me free because the truth is what mattered. Like people being honest. But the thing was, I couldn't receive it because I wasn't honest with myself that I was better than that. I wasn't honest with myself that that was no longer part of me. If it was no longer part of me, then why am I giving a reaction? Why I'm still responding in the same old way? If I had changed, come on now, we're gonna talk about Jehovah Jireh, God, you heard. But if you're a changed person, um, then your response will be of change. It won't be in defense. It won't be in pointing fingers. It won't be in pointing blame. It won't be in trying to validate or, as I said yesterday, justify your wrongdoing. It won't be in hate. It's just simple as that. Like everything somebody say to you, you'll receive it in love. Everything you hear, you'll hear it in love. Everything you feel, you'll feel it in love. Everything you do, you'll do it in love. And everything you speak, you will speak it in love. That goes to show you how much you done grown, how much you done changed, and how much your soul has prospered along with your health. It ain't just, in the physical. It ain't just in the psychological. It ain't just in the emotional. Like everything will be transitioning because where you may be speaking one thing, you may be doing another. And one thing I've learned, actions speak louder than words. Actions speak louder than words. And what made me value the man that he was a man of little confrontation. He wasn't doing no arguing. He wasn't doing no going back and forth. But when he did, he was just like me. We 0 to 1,000 real quick. And like once we there, it's like no bringing us down. But that was the reality of it and why we felt like we needed to push to get a response to validate what we was feeling because now we have a reason. Instead of actually processing our real issue, processing the real feeling, processing the real pain, we suppress it. It becomes oppression to a point where it brings us anxiety, depression, stress, we overwhelm and overthinking. Like those things are happening. And we not realizing that these things are happening to us because we are seeking reasons for our actions, which is not okay. Yes, you are hurt, but is this the thing that hurt you, or this is just the thing that you want to put the blame on? This is just the thing that you want to justify why you acting outright, why you got an attitude, why you being ugly, why you being mean, why you talking in ways that's not Christ like. So like accountability is everything, but I'm gonna tell you, God brushed me up so good. I'm just here for Jehovah Jireh, because it's all right. Because at the end of the day, I'm learning from my lessons, and me learning these is making me better, and I can feel it in my spirit. The best joy ever is to really work on you. The best joy ever is to pour into you. But like, kid you not, um true perspective. So one Sunday we got up, we was going to church. Everybody up in the house, everybody ready. This, and the third. So, I'm ready to go. Of course, he in his chest, I'm in my chest. I'm like, well, I ain't waking him up. He know what time it is. He get up for work. Then he get up for this. So now I'm making a situation out of a situation. But we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. So me being who I am, because one thing about it, I ain't messy. I don't do nothing behind your back. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna be real petty. It's gonna be up front. That's the difference. Messy is everything behind your back. Petty is everything up front. Messy behind your back. Somebody gonna catch you. Yeah, you messy. Jehovah Jireh, we here. And petty is up front. And I am a very petty individual. And I'm growing. I'm getting away from that. But and I have changed. But still got some work to do. So, I'm here for it. But I am a very petty individual because, like, if I'm feeling something, how you gonna feel me? It's your point blank period. I don't know how you gonna feel me, but you gonna feel me. So getting up, getting ready for church, I'm like, yeah, I ain't waking up this third. So finally, we ready for church. We finna leave. We already got to drive an hour to get there. So he decides he want to get up. I said, oh, maybe he got something else to do today. Okay, that's fine. I'm going by my way. Um, pettiness, when I'm in my chest and my feelings, I don't do a lot of talking. Help me, God. Help me, Jesus. Oh, Lord. So, yeah, cause like either my words gonna cut or my hands gonna cut, and it was just an issue, for me. A very, very, very bad issue. And I thank the Lord that the day that I decided to not express myself with my hands, did a 360 for me. And his words came back to say that's not okay. Yes, I was hurt. Yes, I was humiliated. Yes, I was ashamed. But I made the decision for me, my life, that I wasn't going to end it. In that moment, all I could see was his pain, his anger, his shame. And I knew what that felt like in my pain. If somebody could have just held me, somebody could just talk to me, somebody would have not judged me in my mess, in my misery, my pain, my suffering, to a degree to not tear me down while I was already at rock bottom. He did that for me. And I remember ways that's not me. I moved here to work on the border, and that's not me. So in that moment, I put my hands behind my back because I needed him to see me, even though in the start the old me wanted to reject back, wanted to go back, wanted to prove I'm not the one. I can be that person. But the new me had to tell me the old me, the devil is, and I suppressed how I felt. I eliminated myself from the situation, and I looked at the issue. His issue wasn't with me. I took the heat, I took the blows. But his issue that night wasn't with me. And I seen him. That's one thing I like about the movie Beyond the Lights. Because when we doing a lot of acting out, sometimes we just need people to see us. See our cry. Hear our unspoken voice. to meet us where we are, not with hate, not with what we may deserve in that moment according to man, but what we truly deserve according to God. As the song just said, love is the only remedy for hate. Love is the only remedy for hate. And this man loved me enough to talk to me, not at me, not with his hands. Before then, not with validation for the way he was acting. And I reflect back to that moment. In that moment, he was at rock bottom. He was tired. He was fed up. And the lies, the cheating, and disrespect had got to a point where he couldn't take it no more. He wanted to live in the truth. Yet, again, we need a reason to act the way we do when the real issue is just being honest, is speaking our truth. It's going to hurt, but it's going to set us free. It's not going to allow us to result in fighting and pointing blame and making somebody else the reason for the way we act, the way we react, and the way we respond. Not in love. That was not Christ like. That was not good. And I'm here to tell you, anybody that support you fighting, you arguing, you drinking, you doing drugs, whatever your sin is, because that's why I try to tell people no sin is greater than the next. Just because I'm not sinning the way you doing don't mean that I'm not sinning. But anybody that support your sinful nature is not your friend. Is not for you. Is not the person, the people, the business, the thing that you need in your corner. Anybody will tell you. Anytime my friends, I did it. I did it. I ain't gonna say that I didn't do it, but I had to check myself later on because my friends will call me. Yeah, we finna go. Yeah, we finna go. They done pulled up. I done put my shoes on. I'm going to go. What I look like out here? Going to go fight. Make that make sense. Please make it make sense. But I did it. But see, I was a child then. When you a child, you think as a child, you act as a child. When you become a man or a woman, you put away your childish ways. So then in school, I ain't saying it was okay. I ain't say that. But I am saying I was acting childlike. So I had to learn from my actions. When I became an adult, I was zero tolerance. That was not okay. My cousin would tell you anytime she called, she read, okay, then listen. First of all, we ain't gonna act like that. Now we ain't gonna do that, this, and the third. And I'm going, but I'm going. We finna pray. We finna talk about this. Like, they don't want to hear all that stuff in the middle of the heat. But many a time, I be like, don't do this. Chill out. Now, we ain't gonna act like that. Now, we ain't gonna give my image this, and third. But I was learning along the way. But how many people in my life, how many people say they love me? How many people say they there for me? How many people say I can call on them? How many people I've been raised with, family, friends, that have really, in the midst of my rock bottom, in the midst of my uproar, had took the time to say, Shanae, that's not okay. How many? They want to talk to you when you come, but in the midst, and that's what I love at the Lord, because in the midst of my storm, He's right there. But guess what? In the midst of that storm that night, the love of my life, He was right there. Even though I'm seeing Him, even though this is ugly, this is bad, this is the first it has ever been to this degree when it comes to Him. And I'm sitting here looking at Him, and the first thing I see was myself. And the first thing I think about was what I really wanted deep down inside, not to be judged, not to be hated, but to just feel love, just for somebody to see me for me. Not what's on the outside. When you see me for me, that means you see my heart. You see what's on the inside. See what I'm trying to do. That night flipped my world upside down because, number one, it's where it's stuck. That's not who I am. And it's not okay to respond that way. I didn't respond in a way that my flesh was willing me to, but I welcome God in. Yes, I could have responded differently. I did have to call the police. I could have called his stepdad. But in the heat of the moment, for my sake, my sanity, I knew I needed interference because I could only take so much. I knew I needed in that moment somebody that wasn't gonna come and be one sided. I needed somebody that was gonna come and do a well check, but also somebody that he will respond to. I also needed somebody to help me because I knew anybody else would have came, they would have got the it would have went it would have still went left field because it took a lot for me to go from 1,000. I wasn't even at 1,000. I was at 500 to zero because I was fed up, I was tired, and I was embarrassed. So I said a whole lot of striking things, but I went to zero when I seen myself and I knew what I needed in a moment when I was being that person. So I wanted to be there for him. But I knew when it comes to my kids and because of the abuse and the things that I dealt with their father in my past, if this would have occurred any level of arguing, fighting, any degree of that would have been a trigger. So in that moment, I had to respond for me. I wasn't responding for him. I wasn't thinking about nobody else but me. What is it going to take for you to not go left? And the reason why is because when I called on people that I felt cared for him, I felt they knew him better than I did, and I felt would help me see him, their response was to flip it on me. Their response wasn't for us. Their response was one sided. So why would I call on those same people? Why would I call on people that is not for us? I couldn't even call on my own parents because one, my daddy, I'm a daddy's girl. He always gonna side with me. Two, my mom, then we wasn't in a space where we could communicate. So a lot of stuff I was dealing with by myself. Couldn't call on my friend. She was there, but she was one sided. She was for me. She wasn't for us. So when I say God will make you see people, He will make you see people. But when you in a relationship, you need people that's for you and whomever you decide to be with. If they're not going to tell you the right thing to do, if they're not going to pray for you, if they're going to be one sided, then they are not for you and your relationship. It's not okay. It's not okay. You got people in my family where I feel like I felt something about him. I knew something was right. Okay. Well, if you knew something was right, well tell me how many times did you pray for him? Did you pray over him? Did you have a conversation with him? Not to get in our business, not to figure him out, but to see what his need can be so that you can pray for him and so you can support him as a person that I chose to be with. Come on, God, we go Jehovah Jireh or not. But I take accountability for me because if I mishandle him, I mistreat him, I disrespect him, then I can't expect for nobody else to do the same. So that everything reflected back on me. And now I'm at a place where I'm trying to defend, I'm trying to protect because just like, okay, when I love somebody, trust me, when I love somebody, I love somebody. I love easily. But when I'm in love with somebody, I'm going to war behind that person. I'm in love with myself. I'm in love with my kids. Back then was in love with my girls. I was in love with this man, so I'm gonna do whatever it is to protect him. But I'm not gonna aid and abet his wrongdoing. He will tell you that. Anytime he will have a disagreement with his ex-wife or his baby mama, I said, well, how can we look at it for their point of view? We can't be one sided. He hated to hear that, but I was being honest. I'm not finna be here a woman, a woman, a woman, a woman, a real woman, a real woman. Let me put that out there, Jehovah Jireh, because we gonna talk about because they want to be real, but they ain't. I'm not finna. A real woman is not finna sit here and let a man mistreat the mother of his kids. Not finna let a man mistreat his kids, and not finna let a man disrespect his mama. One thing I can say, me and him had an argument. 9 times out of 10 had nothing to do with us. And that's just point blank period. But we gonna talk about it or not. Every argument was JR, you did this. You that's not okay. You gotta think about it. How can we better respond? Okay, you can't argue every time there's a situation. Maybe you need to step away. Maybe we need to come back to the conversation. Hear them out. Don't say nothing. Every time when it comes to the kids. Okay, well maybe you need to take that child and sit them down. Maybe how you responded wasn't. I get it. It wasn't okay, but you need to. Same thing he did for me and my kids. Now he said now you went a little too far. He said after I was finna have to interfere, I said, and that was the thing. Like those moments show how much a person love you. Show that a person don't want you to stay in the state that you're in. Show that a person is concerned about your well-being. Show that a person love you that much to be honest. He knew how I was. He didn't interfere, but he wanted to. He waited till I calmed down. He talked to me. He said, I get it. He said, trust me, I get it. He said, but that wasn't the way to respond. And he said, you gotta work on it. You gotta do better about it. that stuck with me. Love sticks. Hate iterates. It's fuel. It aid in a bed dysfunction, which creates issues, which creates habits, which creates um addictions, which creates behavior that is a continuous cycle no matter where they go, no matter who they with, no matter what place they in, no matter what they doing great, is going to continue to happen. There is a difference. It's never okay for somebody to hit somebody. Point blank period. It's never okay for a woman to hit a man, never okay for a man to hit a woman. But we're gonna talk about it or not. If you can't walk away from the situation or you can't get away from the situation, you have to call somebody that is able to interfere, de escalate, and not going to add to the problem. I don't need nobody to say, yeah, boy, you know what you did. Or yeah, girl, I already know your type. Yeah. First of all, like I said, our issues, our problems, our past were so much alike. Like it was like I was the female version of him, he was the male version of me. Literally, everything about us was so similar. It was radical. And I was just trying to learn how to love me because I seen so much of me, but I didn't know how to love me. So there was no way I could love him. I didn't even know how to love me. And I'm sure he seen the same thing. I'm sure he felt the same thing. I'm sure this was the same weight I was carrying. He was carrying. The crazy part, we were too busy trying to save each other. But the real problem was we needed to save ourselves. We needed to say, well, let's step back from this situation. Um, how can we support each other? Do we need space, um, therapy, counseling, whatever it was? We had to agree to do it together. One couldn't just be doing it. Both had to do it. But that's the thing. Both have to agree to want it for each other, but most important to want it for oneself because it will be always one sided. We can be in correspondence to what we wanted unless we both seen the need and unless we both acknowledge our issues, unless we both accept it. We need some work individually as well as collectively. It was bigger than us. We felt like we could handle it because we've handled so many other things and it was nothing. But also too, if we get in the uproar, both of us, now who can calm the other down? Who can talk to the other? Because I tried. I tried to be what I felt like so many people could have been for me in my past. I tried to talk, I tried to de-escalate, I walked away. It did, the problem ceased, but because of, um drinking and just, other people, energy, spirits, words that night, just reflecting back, um, just as quick as it de escalated, just as quick as it came back up. I need people in my corner. I need friends in my corner. I need people And the thing about it, I'm not speaking on anyone to say that you're a bad person. But I am speaking that maybe you just like me, you have issues that you hadn't dealt with personally, that you weren't able to support me as a friend. You wasn't able to support me as a family member. You wasn't able to support me as a minister. Like, that's the thing. Everybody, I don't care what title you have. God show me this all the time. He has no respect of a person. No matter what title you have issues as well. You have attitudes as well. You have a character and demeanor as well. You have um problems with interference. You have problems with judging. You have a problem with um pointing out somebody else's issue but not reflecting on your own. So a lie can be one sided. And that's not okay. I take accountability for me. Getting back to the story, because I ain't gonna forget. When we was going to church, and we got to church. Kids you not, he had text Janai and was like, well, where y'all led, I done made it to church. Me being petty, y'all pray for me. That was then. I'm better now, but then Jehovah Jireh. I take accountability. I repented of my sins because, baby, trust it weighed on me heavy. It did. So he was like, where y'all was at? And just so happened, I was seeing the text. So, I snatched her phone. I looked at it. And I texted him back from her phone, which is not okay. Because, number one, I'm not setting an example. I'm not training up my child in the way that she should go. And me, Christian, spiritual, that was the flesh. But having an attitude, holding on to grudges, not dealing with stuff, letting it pile up, letting it add up, letting it overtake me, and even sitting in the house of the Lord, still wasn't in the right spirit. I text back, now you come to church with your family, so you sure ain't finna sit with your family. You sure we ain't finna make you look good, and everybody think that it's all good. Again, y'all see my issue coming back from my past, faking it, but really wasn't good. It just kept coming, but I inflicted that on him. I brought that to my future, and guess what? It became an issue for us, cause I'm like, Then that ain't even the worst part. Y'all go on to pray. Y'all can start praying right now in the name of Jesus. But God convicted me. He did. He got on the girl. Because I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed to say I ain't laughing, but ooh, Lord have mercy. That's the thing. Don't nobody want to tell the nitty gritty. Don't nobody want to talk about the real truth. Don't nobody want to really take accountability. But that's the only way I can be free. That's the only way I can heal. That's the only way I can grow. So I'm going to put it out there because I have no secrets. I have no shame. So there's nothing to whisper about because I am the truth. I am real. I'm too real for I'm too real. I'm too real. I'm too upfront. I'm always gonna put it out there because at the end of the day, I know my downfall can also help somebody else. But then too, sometimes you gotta talk to people so you're not seeing one sided. But when you talking to people and they not helping you um with your situation and they're adding fuel to your dysfunction, yeah, them people you need to omit. I'm just saying, put it out there, Jehovah Jireh. But um I text him back and I said all of that. But then I'm gonna tell you about the devil. Woo, Lord, because he had me that day. Woo, Jesus. Sitting in church, I'm going through the service. I got an attitude. I ain't even fully intact. I'm just there. But that's how you know. That's how you know that you need to check yourself. That's how you know when you need to change. But Bishop was just preaching this and the third. Here come my altar call. Here I go, Lord, I'm so ashamed. He go down to the altar. I'm like, now, this Negro done already been down to the altar. What he going back to the altar for? I said, see, there he go, put on the show. See, that's messy. That's messy. But I'm judging him in the midst of trying to get it together, in the midst of trying to do the right thing, in the midst of trying to be a better person. So, how can people ever change? How can people ever grow? How can people ever be love, be light, get to a better place. If we people, I'm gonna say we, cause yeah, that was a mess. That was a hot mess. When I got home, I said, now you need to go to the altar. You should have been down there with him. I said, Lord, have mercy, talk to me, Jesus. But this is what I did in the midst of my pain because hurt people. And just because you may not be saying it to them directly, just because you may not be inflicting it on them directly, you can be doing it spiritually, emotionally, psychologically. You can be doing these things. And I see it happen all the time. I've seen people mistreat people that they say that they want to be with, and it did something to me. But like I told you yesterday, when it irks you, it's a personal issue within yourself that you need to see. So that's what God is grasping right now because now I'm reflecting on all my ways, all my acts, everything I did. Lord, make the wrong thing right. That was my prayer for this year. And that was a mess. And I remember feeling like that. Everybody against me moving. I'm trying to better myself, trying to get out of a toxic environment where it was nothing but darkness, hell, destruction. Jesus, I'm divorced and this man still in my mama's house. Make that make sense. I'm just saying. But nobody was seeing me trying to help me. Everybody was judging by the way that I was moving. Well, you made a quick move. Well, you doing too much. You leaving your kids, this, and that. Here I go listening to the voices. Now I'm discouraged about my own move. Now I'm questioning me moving, but this was God. This wasn't me. God knew what I needed, but I needed to get with myself, get away from people, stay away from people. Thank you, Jesus, for right now. Because that's the thing. When you go through transition and you're going through a change, you got to get people out of your life, out of your space that is not for you. Yes, I need to leave my kids because guess what? I'm no good to my kids if I don't have myself together. I ain't gonna be like everybody else where they just inflicting their pain on their kids. They just so hard on their kids that the kids can't even be kids. They so hard on their kids, the kids don't even know what they did wrong. They just taking their kids through their emotions. I've done that. I was that person. They didn't ask to be here, but we brought them into the world, so it's our job to protect them, even from ourselves. Jehovah Jireh or not. I couldn't do it for my kids because I needed to do it for me first. Even my kids now needing therapy. Even my kids now needing a life coach, needing a mentor, needing somebody for them. And I'm trying to do it for them right now, even as I'm still doing it for myself because I can finally do it because I did it for myself first. I couldn't do it for them until I did it for me first. But don't nobody want to talk about the truth. But I remember feeling like that. Where you going up there by yourself and this, and the third. God was laying stuff out like a silver platter, and then I was carried in one of the big chairs where the men just hold you up and they feeding me grapes. That's how I'm telling you, he laid it out. But didn't nobody support that I was trying to change for me, that I was trying to do better, that I need to make a decision for me, not for them, not based on what they felt, but I didn't have that support. When I had my divorce, half of my family turned against me. They felt some type of way. Why? Because they was one sided. Oh, I know her. Oh, he just such a good. Mm-hmm. Just like his family was saying, yeah, we know him. And you such a good touche. But it was our life, our moment. And I had to decide for me that how I was living was not okay. That I needed some help and I needed to do it for me. So I took accountability to do the work so that I could change. But stay tuned, there's more to come. Happy Sunday. Now I gotta finish getting ready for church.